It's about time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to the About Time Boxing family and my Trill 100 Mil gang? Um, I know I've been away for a while. I had some family things, death in the family and stuff like that. So that's why I haven't been putting up any videos. So for those of y'all that has been consistently rocking with me and who has been patient with me, I really appreciate y'all. Um, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Pass the word about Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Become part of the About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang. Teofimo Lopez. I guess this guy's just he don't care if he makes an ass out of himself. He don't care how stupid he looks. I guess because with this old media, these guys, Max Kellerman, Chris Maddox, Mauro Ronaldo, these guys feeding his ego, and actually they still telling him that he is the undisputed lightweight champion. And so I guess because he shows off some certificate that he got from Mauricio Suleiman, that's everybody's supposed to be convinced about that. So he showed he can read off of the certificate. But so what is that? Dude, you have the franchise belt. Okay? You are not the legitimate WBC lightweight champion. That title belongs to Devin Haney. And everybody know it. And it's a shame because when Devin Haney had a conversation with Max Kellerman, and y'all can go back and look at this, Max Kellerman actually had the nerve to try to tell Devin Haney that him being his belt doesn't mean him being a champion doesn't mean anything. Like, okay, you got the belt, but so what? That don't mean anything. But then on the flip side, when he's interviewing Teofimo Lopez, he's telling Teofimo Lopez, you're the undisputed champion. You can fight anybody you want. Chris Maddox said the same thing to Ryan Garcia when he beat Luke Campbell. And he just got the interim WBC belt. So because of his popularity, or what? So either the belts mean something or the belts don't mean nothing. We know that the franchise belt is not a belt supposedly that can change hands through fighting. Nobody knows. I don't think that there are any sanctioning fees that they pay. And the one thing that I do know, and everybody has said this. Shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation. Yo, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Aki TV. You know what I'm saying? And Boxing Ego. Listen, man. Shout out to New Media, Blue Blood Sports. Listen. We all know that in order to become a franchise champion, that's something that you have to petition for. You basically gotta ask for it. You don't earn it through fighting or nothing like that. And for those who petition for it, usually it's just a way for them to avoid fighting certain people. So Teofimo Lopez, okay, all right, so it's supposed to be a surprise that he's fighting George Kambosis. Even when they thought that the fight wasn't going to happen, when he was talking about he's sending out contracts to him and Devin Haney and all that, he never had no intentions on sending a contract to Devin Haney because he never wanted to fight him. NBF. Dante's Boxing Nation know what I'm talking about. Aki TV know what I'm talking about. Bill Haney know what I'm talking about. Boxing Eagle know what I'm talking about. Blue Blood Sports TV, he know what I'm talking about. NBF. It's a term that's floating around in Top Rank. They know what it means. And now it's circulating around boxing. Everybody know what it means. And see, let me explain something to you, Teofimo. Lomachenko chose to fight you because between you and Devin Haney, he knew at least he thought that you were the easier fight. You were the lighter risk. He felt like that he could beat you. That's why he avoided Devin Haney when Devin Haney was his mandatory and chose to drop the belt. So you can call Devin Haney a email champion, Google champion, whatever you want to call. You can call him whatever you want. But everybody knows that the belt that Devin Haney has is the same belt that all of the greats have held. And you have yet to hold it. Muhammad Ali, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Floyd Mayweather. Okay? And they held the belts when there was no such thing as no franchise belt. As a matter of fact, during their time, if somebody would have mentioned something like that, it would have been they would have laughed. They'd have got laughed at. They would have gotten laughed at. Because you know the difference. See, this is why I said Devin Haney is a different type of champion. He's a different type of fighter. He reminds me, he's like the old throwback fighters. When it comes down to talking about people he want to fight, you never hear him mention money. Never hear him mention money. That's why you got Teofimo Lopez talking about, his next fight, $5 million minimum. Dude. Yeah, you beat Lomachenko, but that don't make you great. Okay? Shakur Stevenson dogged his ass in the sparring session. And I know you can't beat Shakur Stevenson. That's why you ain't gonna want to fight him. You can't beat Devin Haney. That's why you're not going. That's why you don't want to fight him. So after you fight Kambosis, who you gonna fight? Javier Fortuna? You're not even gonna fight Ryan. But dude, please stop saying that you are the undisputed lightweight champion. You are not the undisputed champion, dude. You're not. And as far as I'm concerned, you making a fool out of yourself. Making all these videos and stuff. I've been away for a while, like I said, because I had some, I had death in the family, so I had to deal, with stuff like that. But, guess who's Bazak? And for all y'all who may watch this for the first time and think that, I'm just attacking Teofimo Lopez, or for the people who may try to do what they did last time, try to call it a racist thing and all that kind of stuff. Stop it. Stop it. Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. Is boxing kind of like what? Racially divided? Absolutely, I feel like it is. Yep. But here, About Time Boxing, we just speak the facts and we talk about what the truth is. That's what we talk about. And the truth is, Teofimo Lopez is not the undisputed lightweight champion. Devin the Dream Haney is. And everybody know it. And all them clowns, old media, they know it too. I don't understand how on one hand, y'all trying to make it seem like when Devin Haney talking about it, it don't mean nothing. But then when y'all talking to Teofimo Lopez and y'all telling them like, oh man, you're the undisputed champion. You can fight whoever you want. Who do you want to fight next? I don't hear Max Kellerman talking to them about daring to be great and all that stuff like that. Yeah, we talking about the same Max Kellerman who thought he was a rapper at one time. Who used to wear the overalls with the skull cap tilted over his face and all that, who wanted to be a gangster rapper. He was a thug. Or whatever you want to call it. Oh yeah, that Max Kellerman. Max Clown Kellerman is what I call him. Larry Merchant Jr. is what I call him. Because when Floyd was beating people when he was younger, you didn't hear them saying, "Oh, you can beat anybody, you can fight anybody you want now." When he beat Angel Manfredi, Diego Corrales, Genaro Hernandez, Justin Juco, Philip Ndu, when he was beating these guys, you didn't hear them saying, "Oh, you can fight anybody you want." You know what they said about Floyd? In fact, they just started talking about who they thought he was scared to fight. And if you look at in history, all of this stuff is documented proof. If you go look at most of his interviews with Larry Merchant was always trying to disrespect Floyd some kind of way. Always. They never said you can fight whoever you want. But Floyd said, from 154 on down, bring him to me, I'll beat him. And he has done that. And now he's retired. That's all they still talk about. Well, he won't fight this person. He won't fight that person. Floyd said it himself. I had my time. I got to leave it to the young guys now. And guess what? Devin Haney really wants to prove that he's the best. He said he'll fight anybody. So why is it that nobody wants to fight him? Why? Why nobody wants to fight Devin Haney? Yeah, Devin Haney, listen, it's possible he could be the boogeyman. How come Teofimo Lopez won't fight Gervonta Davis? How come he won't fight Ryan Garcia? Because he did an interview maybe a little over a month ago or something like that, or between a month and 2 months ago, and he said, it's time for me to start making some money. So he wants to milk being this fake undisputed champion. You're a champion, but you're not the undisputed champion. And as far as all that shit you talking about, the IBF being strict, dude, you bit that from Caleb Plant. You bit that from Caleb Plant. You wasn't saying nothing about that till Caleb Plant started saying the IBF is kind of strict about fighting his mandatories. But he said, after I fight Caleb Truax, he said, then I got a whole year to make I can fight anybody I want. And it's just so funny that damn near verbatim you said the same thing he said. The same thing he said. Oh, no matter how good of a champ. I mean, like, you just stroking your own ego, dude. That's what you're doing. They're real strict no matter how popular I am, or no matter how good of a champion I am, no matter how much they like me. And I'm not going to give up my belt. Dude. Lomachenko fought you because he didn't think that you was any kind of risk or threat to him. And because between you and Devin Haney, you had the least amount of fights. So he figured he could take advantage of you. That's what he thought. It's no different than when Gary Russell fought Lomachenko and thought, because Lomachenko was 1-1-1 and he was 24-0 with 14 knockouts, that he could dog Lomachenko, and Lomachenko basically whooped his ass. You didn't whoop Lomachenko. I mean, you won the fight, but you didn't whoop his ass. So Lomachenko looked at it like you were the lesser experience of the two. And he felt like, I got a better chance at beating this guy than beating Devin Haney. That's why he didn't want to fight Devin. That's why he dropped. That's why he, chose to relinquish the belt to Devin Haney. And everybody knows that. Max Kellerman, Chris Maddox, all these guys know that. They know it. That's why some of y'all people trying to say, oh, Devin Haney, oh, you're email champion. What you say? You try to say some slick shit? We'll call him an AO. He wants to be the AOL champion because you showing some certificates. And mind you, just a few months ago, you yourself was talking trash about Mauricio Suleiman. Oh, man, F him. F Mauricio Suleiman. He a piece of shit. But now Mauricio your man, right? Because, You got that fake ass certificate where you can sit, to show that you can read a little bit to try to say that you're not the undisputed champion, man. You're not, and you know it. You know it. And this is why same reason Lomachenko fought you is the same reason you fighting George Kambosis. Same reason. And the same reason Lomachenko avoided Devin Haney to fight you is the same reason you fighting George Kambosis. Because between Kambosis and Devin Haney, you feel like Kambosis is the easier win, and you feel like you want, and Max Kellerman telling you basically, you can pick the safest fights, for the most money. And then they try to justify it and say, oh, well, Floyd Mayweather did it. No, Floyd didn't either. And this is what I be saying about people who never paid attention to his career. Y'all look at his career. Floyd had a lot of tough fights. A lot of them. And a lot of the fights that he took against people who they wanted to see him fight, Floyd was the underdog, and they said he wouldn't be able to beat him anyway, and he did it. I guess they forgot when he fought Chop Chop. Oh yeah, that was the fight when Larry Merchant said, "Oh, Floyd think that he has Oscar De La Hoya drawing ability. He can't put no asses in the seats, but he believes that he can. But he'll never have that he'll never have that drawing ability. He'll never be of an Oscar De La Hoya type status." Larry Merchant said that. If y'all don't believe me, look at the whole fight, and listen to when Floyd doing his ring walk. Listen to what Larry Merchant said. So Floyd wanted the big fights, but they were avoiding him because they didn't think he was worth it. But you think that, but Teofimo, you want to sit there and you feel like that you earned the right to do what Floyd did with his last 7 fights with Showtime. And they were still tough fights. Okay? So the people that he fought, they still were tough fights. Because remember, nobody picked, some people did, but a lot of people had Canelo beating Floyd when that fight was signed. A lot of people felt like Maidana beat Floyd the first time, just like with Castillo. Okay, Floyd fought hard fights, and you trying to pick the easiest fights you can and think you gonna maximize your money by fighting, picking safe fights. Because Kambosis really don't have no power to knock you out. His reach is not as long as yours. He's basically smaller than you. And you know it. He's kind of built like Lomachenko. You look at the fight, you was bigger than Lomachenko. It's funny how you was calling everybody out, talking about what you gonna do to Tank and all these other people before you won those belts. Now you won those belts, you walking around like a prima donna. Stop acting like a bitch and fight. Prove that you the best if you think you the best. Devin Haney wants to prove it. So if Devin Haney is your mandatory and you don't fight him, then since you talking about, fighting your mandatories and all that, so if Devin Haney becomes your mandatory, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Try to avoid it? Or you gonna go complain to Top Rank and say, NBF, come on, man, what y'all doing to me? What do y'all think? Subscribe, like, comment. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments. Let me know what y'all think, man. Teofimo Lopez, man, come on, dude. What do y'all think? Because this, if boxing is supposed to be about proving that you are the best, then prove it. Because that's what Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez. You had all these guys back then. All these guys. Mickey Ward. You had all these old throwback fighters from back then. Puerto Rican, black, white, didn't matter what they was. Back then, they really just tried to prove that they were the best. The promoters were a lot of the promoters were greedy. Don King, Bob Arum. You know, they was trying to rip the fighters off. And the fighters still was fighting these fights to prove that they was the better fighter. Iran Barkley. You had all these different fighters back then. What's going on today? It's only a hand. There's only a few that wants to prove. You got a lot of people that do a lot of talking. Oh, well, you know, eventually I'll fight this person. Eventually I'll do this. Eventually I'll do that. Devin Haney is really trying to fight people. So what's going to happen? He ain't going to be able to fight nobody. And what's going to happen? They're going to try to strip him of his belt for inactivity like they did Demetrius Andrade. Because nobody wanted to fight him. Drop some comments, man. Let me know what y'all think. Smash the like button. And I'm ready for you morons that's going to try to make this about race or anything else. You can try to do whatever you want, but I'm not even trying to hear it. Has nothing to do with race. Teofimo Lopez runs his mouth. He shoots his mouth off a lot and has yet to back up anything. He making it seem like he has to fight Kambosis. No, he don't. Because even before Kambosis' name came up, he kept talking about fighting Devin Haney. But the powers that be at Top Rank got in his ear. They said, what are you talking about? You see why? Don't you know why Lomachenko avoided him? Are you crazy? NBF, man. You know. You see what Canelo doing? Come on. No. Gotta stay. No. Come on, man. And they, like I said, the same reason you, Teofimo Lopez Jr., the same reason that you are avoiding Devin Haney and fighting George Kambosis is the same reason that Lomachenko chose to fight you and avoid Devin Haney. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? Pass the word about Rashan's About Time Boxing. We back.